Okay, folks, good morning. All right. Well, we need to pick a little bit of this stuff up. I don't want to get distracted by this shit, and then we'll get started. Where's my cardboard? It's here. Aha. Over there. Definitely don't want this. Pieces, parts, that's where it needs to be. Probably don't need this. Paint brushes galore that we're just going to end up pulling back over, but I moved the lamp that's normally here out of the way. I moved the computer over in front of us here so I can see what's going on. I'm trying to film not in reverse. It's really annoying, at least to me, that everything that I'm showing you is backwards. And it's not as simple as just hitting a button on the I don't know why YouTube doesn't provide it, but YouTube on their mobile app just doesn't allow you just to flip the thing. It just seems like something really basic, like the very first thing I would think they would put on. Oh, we got lots of this plastic pre-cut. Not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I do need to make myself some room. Good morning. Okay, so we've got three more, at least three more, and I plan on doing them in order. What the heck is this? Oh, we got paint here on our cutting area. Well, I'm not going to be one of those people. Where's my hand sanitizer? Hand sanitizer takes care of this real easy. In case you guys don't know, in case you guys haven't watched my video, if you're using acrylic paint, just put a little bit of hand sanitizer. I guess they all work. This happens to be the Purell that I got on 2-for-1 many years ago. And yeah, just give it a squirt of this stuff and it comes right off. It comes off your hands. It works really well with even just Viejo primer that's difficult. Oh, interesting. It left a little bit of a red stain on it because looks like it was chocolate brown. Well, it may be permanently stained. Ever so slightly. We'll have to keep working on that. Oh well. Yeah, that's why I use this thing to protect it. I guess the one job, and ever since I've had one of these in, I don't know, 15 years, I probably got a stain on it. Oh well. I guess I'm made of money. I'll just buy another one. I don't like having an area has disturbances like that. Even though everybody has a painting area, it looks like it just makes it difficult to find things, So, okay. Marty McFly. One of my favorite movies from the 1980s. I still haven't seen the third one. I think I saw the second one. The first one is like one of the best movies ever. Even though I've only seen it like twice. I don't rewatch movies, but that one, Raiders of Lost Ark. I came across something on Facebook. I think it was on Facebook a couple of mornings ago when I do some surfing in the morning before I get on, and it was talking about stars from the 1980s. I like 80s music. I don't know that I like a lot of those 80s movies, but anyhow, La Troca Loca. That's what this is. But we've got the lowriders over here, the Mexican lowriders. We've got 6 vehicles so far. Got another 1, 2, 3, 4 in the mix, and probably one more that I'm going to do. That is none of these because it doesn't really fit the look of it. And that's without getting into really large vehicles, which I haven't done any of. I've never done any. It sounds like I'm afraid to do some or something. It's just, you got to get the basic stuff in before you start doing a bunch of weird shit, right? You can't start off with, like, I'm new to Gaslands and here's my war rig. I'm like, no. You got to do, like, you got to build up to that, you know? So, so Troca Loca, we're going to build her or design her before we start adding a bunch of parts. That's how I operate. It is, of course, a truck. You know, that would be ridiculous for it not to be a truck. I'm going to use this same one. All of them are in here. This was the, El Diablo Verde that we just finished. I need to sit down and make these on Excel and make the car sheets for them. That all these vehicles have. It's an integral part of how I play the game. Makes things a lot easier. La Troca Loca. Is Troca Mexican for truck? It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. That's their Spanglish version of it. But that's what we're going with. La Troca Loca is 15 points. Again, the goal is to get to 37. And it has 3 build slots, as always. This big thing, this was literally built around this weapon. I wanted something to use this, well, it looks like a Stinger, a really large Stinger missile. And I'm going to call this a bazooka in the game. There's a bazooka and then there's rockets. Rockets do 6d6, have 3 ammo. Bazooka does 3d6, have 3 ammo, but they have blast. That means every hit that's not canceled puts a hazard on it. So I like to mix them between the two things. We're going to call this a bazooka, even though it looks more bazooka than rockets. It's just a one way or the other. They both, unfortunately, use 2 build slots. Okay, so that is a given. So when you put them on a vehicle that only has 2 build slots, that's it, you're done. So, so like this, for instance, this vehicle, this is really more the Crimson Cuervo. This is almost more car-like than a truck, but I had to call it a truck because otherwise I wouldn't even be able to put a ram on it. Like you put rockets on it, you're done. So this thing is going to be a bazooka. So it's going to be a bazooka on a turret. So a bazooka goes for 4 points, but it's multiplied by 3 because it's on a turret. And all of a sudden, you're at 27 points. So I have 2 options. I can continue fleshing this thing out because I still have a build slot for it that's unused, but I'm already at my 27 point number, or just build it up to 35. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to build this thing up to 35 points. And I've got a couple different tiers that I have decided on my own to keep the vehicles in those zones, and that's so that you can switch them out real easy. You know, not like build your car and spend an hour and a half doing it, you know. What's up, Jacob? I think they make some medicine for that. Keyboard stuff. So that's what I've decided to do that on my own, and it's become really handy to play a game like, okay, take 2 27-point vehicles, or, you know, take, you know, same thing. Take 1 35-point vehicle and 1 27-point vehicle. So, you know, I can make this not turreted, but I mean, heck, it's on a round base. I mean, this thing is like asking to be turreted. And I don't think any of these vehicles are, I don't remember if this guy's a big vehicle too. These are all 27 pointers for sure. Well, regardless, we're going to make this a 35-point vehicle because we're not going to give away slots, right? You don't want to use a vehicle. It's so difficult to build some cars with and put the stuff that you may want on there and have enough slots for it. You don't want to like buy something that has 3 slots and not use them all. That would be, ridiculous. Okay, so we're already at 27 points. It's got a huge freaking engine on it. Okay, I need to get my rule book for this because I can't use my phone. I'm gonna go grab my rule book, which unfortunately is falling down here. Let me grab that because this is I'm gonna see if I can use the hot start skill on this, because this looks like something that would have a hot start. You got to pay for it, but what hot start allows you to do is to roll a D6, and that's what gear you start in. Good morning. New angle. Yeah, I've been doing it for a couple days. I moved it a little bit more. I want to get away from filming backwards and reverse. And, so I've got to put it in a place where I can read the comments off my computer and not through the back of the phone. So, all right. So hot start, I believe, is not a ton of points. Heck, I think I put nitro on this thing too. Where is hot start? Speed, hot start, 1 can. Okay. So this thing is going to have hot start. That's 1 point. And it's going to have nitro. That's going to be 6 points. I believe that's correct. Nitro, 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 nitro. Six points, right? So now where are we at? 7 plus 27, we're at 34. Is that right? 27. 27 plus 7, 34. I got 1 point left and 1 build slot. That sucks. Okay, I don't want to put a RAM on it. I got 1 build slot left. Isn't there something that uses a build slot that's a dropped weapon? I think so. Caltrop dropper. Glue dropper. Nah. Glue dropper is a weapon that just has very limited use. Like aesthetically. Like I can put one on like a clown car or, something else. Maybe the one that has the toilet that's running, You like this angle? Well, thank you, man. Thanks for the kind comment. There's not enough of those. I mean, you don't have to finish me off or anything, but it's just nice to see. It's nice to hear positive things. I don't like to change things to make things worse. So that's good. I hate showing you guys stuff and it's reversed, like I'm retarded or something like that. I am handicapped, but not in that way. And and the writing on the vehicles would be backwards, and that's just YouTube doesn't allow on their app on the phone doesn't allow you to just press a button and flip the orientation. I don't know why it doesn't. And I was using Streamlabs on the phone to do that, and it didn't work either. It was very glitchy. It actually it did work in reverse. It's a very glitchy app. So build slot, we've got napalm dropper. No, I reserve napalm for things that are look flamey. Grab arm, glue dropper, death row. Glue dropper also cost. Well, the glue dropper only costs 1, but Caltrop dropper costs 1 and is a build slot. That's what I'm going to do. This says Caltrop dropper. And it's 1, and we're at the other magic 35. So that's how we're going to build this thing. Hot start. I mean, it's got an engine of unusual size. Look at this thing. It almost looks like it's got like a 3-barreled trumpet. I gotta wait a little bit to see if it's on camera because it's on like a 15, 20-second delay. So this is going to be all crazy looking. We got exhaust down here. Anyhow, as they say in Britain, get on with it. At least as they say in Britain on TV, on the media. That might just be, you know, bullshit. Like everybody thinks we talk like John Wayne. Well, we used to. Now we talk like all different and stuff. Who knows? I think I've seen one movie with John Wayne in it. Yeah. I don't hate him. He's just in movies that just don't appeal to me. What was the movie he was in? The black and white movie where Kirk Douglas is like, ends up cheating around on somebody's wife and goes on a suicide mission? In Harm's Way. I think he's in that. You got a lot of paint. I do have a lot of paint. I didn't buy it in an afternoon. You know, and I just, all I did was just, I sold things and I just bought paint in place of them. That's it. You know, and a lot of these I've had 20 years. And you can tell when you open up the color, you're like, man, this thing looks like weird as shit. Yeah, this setup was pretty good. I've seen setups that look a lot better, but this is pretty good. This is all right. It's low cost. Works pretty well. Allows me to find the colors relatively easy. So we got this lowrider truck. I don't know. It's not that lowrider. It just looks lowrider-ish. We'll have this fajita van. We got this another Impala, the third Impala, and we've got this Carmen Ghia looking Volkswagen-ish thing. So I think I'm gonna make this a buggy class vehicle. I think. So, all right. So the parts. The only thing we need is the rocket launcher. So let's go ahead and prime that in Le Black. And now we need one of these things that we sent away. And we're going to have a shorter session this morning. I've got to take my car in. Last weekend, was it last weekend? Last weekend, my daughter was here, and we were doing, it was after Thanksgiving. And one of the days, my car was starting it was hesitating longer than it should, and I really didn't want to interrupt our things that we were doing this weekend to go get taken care of. So I've just been playing musical cars with the other two cars. Oh, this is a beautiful, let's not ruin this. That's a beautiful brush. That's like an unused one. So I got to figure out what's going on with my battery. Yeah. So, and I really didn't want to take it just anywhere because, I figure if I take it to where I'm supposed to be taking it, that I take it all the time, they're less likely to find something to charge me for than some place that knows that they're not going to get me ever again. In other words, if you take it somewhere, it's like around the place shops, like, man, this guy's just showing up here because it's convenient. He lives near us. Let's see if we can get what we can get him for. So I don't want to do that. But it's probably the battery, or I don't know if it's the fuel, but I don't want to break down in the middle of nowhere. And certainly on a work day. We don't have time for that. Well, we actually sat down, so the daughter's back in. She had to go, she came up for Thanksgiving, then she had to go away to finish the last couple days of school before Christmas break. And now she's back. And we sat around and finally watched the Jurassic Park movie, the last one. And what written by a 7-year-old, just ridiculous shit, you know. And we, I like all the Jurassic Park movies. I mean, they're not great cinema, but at least you see freaking dinosaurs. But this last one had, creatures that were stupid looking and, acting that was bad. Was acting bad? No, acting wasn't that bad. It was just, the writing was horrendous. It was just ridiculous. A Gaslands video game reminds me of the Robot Wars one. Oh man, now a miniatures game for Robot Wars would be good. Taco Van is awesome. You will hate my opinion, but they need to make a Gaslands video game. That's not a bad opinion. That's a great idea. Did you say that's one big pile of shit at the end of the movie? Nah. The Gaslands video game, one of the first video games that I played, one of the first video games I played on my computer when I got it, I got a racing wheel. Mario Andretti racing wheel. This is like 1999. And it came with a copy of a game called Interstate 76. It was actually Interstate 76 Nitro Pack. And it's extremely retro looking now. But I had a lot of fun playing that. And it was, set in 1976 with some groovy music. And it was Car Wars-ish. The only thing I don't like about Gaslands is the plot. So if they did that whole Mars crap, yeah, I wouldn't want to play the video game. Let's just make it on Earth, man. We can't even master Earth. Why are you out screwing around with other planets? Goldblum says in the Jurassic Park, he's a guy who's grown on me. There's a couple guys that are like really quirky. They always play kind of the same guy. Well, most actors always play the same guy. But Goldblum always plays this nerdy, trying to be cool. Is he cool or is he like a mega nerd? I don't know. He's kind of, he plays that kind of character frequently. And I've grown to kind of like the guy. I mean, I don't know if I'd want him near my daughter. I mean, he's just a little odd. Same thing with Christopher Walken. I wouldn't want Christopher Walken near my daughter. He just has that interesting, actually both of them have an interesting meter, the way they talk. They're different, Good morning, Captain. Oh man, I got demoted. You're from Georgia. Yeah, you are, man. Up in the northwest corner. How you doing, neighbor? Bonjour. Oh, I have a French team I'm going to be building. I just need more cars for it. But I did pick up that little mini Renault that I'm going to call Petite Wee Wee. Or would it be Wee Wee Petite? Which one works better? I'll have to find it out. Yeah, they don't make a lot of French cars. So I'm one of the few people that speaks English that doesn't hate the French. Hey, I don't. I mean, you might be a nice guy. It's like thinking everybody from America is like from New York. Like, don't go there. Okay, we're going to glue these wheels shut. Let's go ahead and do that. That way you can start working on it. Yeah, I wasn't going to build it. I really want to find a Loca. That's a buggy. That's definitely a buggy. A Loca, or what was that thing that they used in For Your Eyes Only? What was that vehicle? It was that little yellow vehicle. I think it was a Citroen. It was a Citroen Loca looking thing. Perfect vehicle. Like, it's a piece of crap. Yeah, and it's got some nasty weapon on it or whatever. Like, whoa! That's the kind of stuff I like. Oh, we got to put this in here and then pry it in. is it only has one clip on here. So we're going to go in here. Well, I thought we had this under control. Put this here. This was all chrome. It has chrome galore. That's going to go like that. I see no reason to get inside of this thing. So we're going to fire up the hot glue gun. Glue this bitch shut. General Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, I don't really care for anybody in Hollywood and how they want to get involved in politics, right? But he's a really good actor. He really is good. He wasn't worth a damn in Titanic, but nobody was worth a damn in Titanic. I hated that movie. But despite that, I think he's really, and the movie where he played a mountain man, whatever it was called, is it The Revenant or something like that? That movie was boring as shit. Anything else he's been in, he's excellent, that I've seen him in. I need to do the translation. Okay, my friend, greetings from France. Thank you for your videos. All right, man, thanks for coming by. Oh, by the way, the plan is we are going to film our first Gaslands game. Well, we've done several Gaslands games, okay? Maybe 10. Well, yeah, probably. And we're going to film our first one in about a week. So we're not going to do it live, so you guys have good quality. And I have to splice it. I'm going to have to move the camera around so you can see where the action is. And it'll be in my typical amateurish way, but it's not going to be like DVA where you can keep the camera in one spot and you'll see everything. I don't think that's going to work. As much as I would like for it to, but it's just not going to work. I think it's just going to be Mitch and I. So, hopefully you guys will watch it. I said, hopefully it'll be fun, but every game has been fun. And, you know, I enjoy playing the game because I'm also playing it a little bit by committee. And what I mean by that is, if you bring in a new player, they're not really at a big disadvantage because we're kind of guiding them of what their options are and what we think they should do. Not nefariously, like, you know, actually like trying to give them good advice. Because we want a good narrative. You know, we don't want some idiot that just shows up and wants to do donuts and, you know, crash the car. We want everybody to kind of be competitive. You know, so, yeah. So, oh, and of course, if I have a French team, I got to have somebody named Blackjack Shellac. That'd be like a cardinal sin not to do that. And don't worry, the British will have Shropshire Slasher. And if you don't know what that's in reference to, well, then you're not my age. Go back to watching your SpongeBob. I don't think they show those cartoons anymore, right? No, they don't show Bugs Bunny cartoons anymore because, they're too violent. Well, you know, we didn't have school violence when those things were on, right? You didn't have people getting shot up in schools, and maybe you need violence on cartoons and not in real life. Since you're so nice, I don't know. I'm going to subscribe to your YouTube channel so I can be one of your new friends. Okay, that'll work, man. Hold on, are you the French guy? Let's see. Scroll up, bonjour. France. Excellent. Yeah. Only reason I say about a lot of people don't like, I know multiple people that don't like things French, and I'm like, look, at least the French know how to drive on the correct side of the road. Sorry, Ben. Hey, you didn't design it. It's not your fault. Oh, man. Okay, so, La Troca. La Troca is going to need some metal things put on it, metal colored things. So we're going to do the grill. We need to prime the lights and the fog lamps. I love fog lamps. And so we're going to do those two things while we're waiting for this primer to dry. I'm probably going to make this rocket launcher a military green type color. If I make it all metal, that's lazy. If I make it red, I don't think it's going to look right. It's going to look like a big fireman's hose or something like that. Not exactly the look I want to go for. I want them like they just ripped it off of something and put it on here. So some kind of military gray green. Obviously, we've got some, even though this definitely is a stinger-like thing, we're going to paint this viewfinder thing in kind of like a red type thing, something like that. So we'll wait for that to dry. I think we're going to do some military, something like this. Maybe not as green as this, but something on there. Let's go ahead and paint these parts that are metal in metal. And speaking of metal, we're going to get the darkest color possible. Well, we can always mix black into it and make it even darker, but this is going to be Iron Warriors. You're planning on learning to drive in the new year, so I have to suppress the little Billy Yank in my brain whispering, "The right, to the right." You don't know how to drive yet? Well, you probably don't need to. When I spent a couple weeks in Spain, one of the things I liked the most was being able to walk everywhere. Now, a couple caveats. It was cold, the weather was beautiful to walk in, and I didn't need to get anywhere at a particular time in a hurry. Actually, it did kind of sprinkle on one day. So I really liked it, plus there was stuff to look at. But you can't walk here in the United States. If you live in a suburban town in the United States and you're walking, you either broke down, you're a crack addict, you're homeless, or I think I covered all of them. I think that's what it is. And that's just unfortunate, but that's the reality, I mean, I wish I didn't have a car. It'd save a lot of money. I have to leave you now because I'm security guard and I have to watch over the boats. And my break is over. See you soon. All right. A boat security guard from France. Well, that's cool. French boats. I had lots of French boats, and then I got rid of them all. Well, I got rid of all of them. It's not like I just got rid of the French ones. The French World War II Navy is beautiful looking ships. I know all they did is sit in port. Well, you say the same thing about the Italians. I like the French and the Italian ships. They're very beautiful. Okay, let's get something like this. Speaking of a game, okay, you were saying what would make a good game, the Gaslands. You know what would make a really good game? I think I touched upon this the other day. I think I brought this up. So I was at this store I have a credit at. I have a credit because I've sold stuff there. Old video game things and things like that. I haven't used in a long time. Called Second and Charles. The place is basically a shit show. You walk in there, there's all kinds of weird looking gamers. And there are any gamers that don't look weird? Not many. And they have some books that are new and they have some books that are used. And I was just messing around in the gaming section where they have the role-playing games and stuff like that. I wasn't really looking, I definitely wasn't looking for role-playing games. But I came across this book that was really thick. It was probably 2 inches thick. And it was like this compendium of a role-playing game for Transformers, more than meets the eye Transformers. And I'm like, if I had a 3D printer and there was 3D printing files, it would be pretty cool to play a Transformers game, with miniatures and paint them, in cell animation style. And I could get into that. And I open this book to see, well, what kind of ideas are in here? Oh man, there's all kinds of stats and stuff on there. You could work into a BattleTech type game, okay? Just imagine BattleTech with Transformers. I think that'd be pretty cool. But you can't play with the real toys because, well, they're too damn expensive. But some of those movies are all right, but I'm talking about the cartoon. There was one of them that my daughter watched when she was little. I want to say it was called Transformers Prime, and made around 2005, 2008, something like that. I thought it looked pretty good. The one from the 80s, yeah, I watched it as a kid. That 80s style cartoon looks like ass to me. I wouldn't watch it. But this one that was in the early 2000s looked pretty good. Anyways, I think that'd be a really good tabletop game. But no, I can't get into it. I'd make a dinosaur game before I did that, because those are easy to find. I know Mitch would be game, that's for sure. That kind of shit you remember from your childhood, you know? And I had a few of the toys, not too many. Maybe 6 or 7 of them. I don't know what the hell happened to them. Okay, so we got all these in the base dark metal color. Let's go ahead and get this too. This is an F-150. I don't know if this bumper down here is metal or not. I have a feeling this one is not because of the grille. What year is this? 2002 Ford Lightning. All right. I know it's tuned out as in cartoon style. So let me rinse this and we'll look up on the internet and see if we can find out what gets body colored and what doesn't. You don't have to do this. I think it's fun to figure it out. All right, let me take a sip of my Coke habit. And I don't have that much Coke each day. I have to do, okay, nothing new. All right, let's take a look here in the, let's see, am I able to show the computer? I can, but I'm not going to be able to aim it really well. So let's see if we can do this. We're going to rotate it up to where we think it is. Oh. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of time to adjust this. Okay, let's see if that's at the right height. Okay, and this is the screen that I'm looking at right now. So we're going to open up a new window, and we're going to go F-150 2002. Okay, you guys can see enough of it. There's just no point in me just moderating something and you guys are looking at something's not moving. Okay, so the front bumper here is all body colored, and then you have the fog lights inside. Let's look at the back. Ford F-150 2002 rear. Yeah, looks like that's metal. Or at least black. Let's see. I'm gonna make it all metal. I'm gonna make it metal like, but that's not the same style, but images. Yeah, something like that. So the topper, there's a little black around the top of it. Okay. And then when we get to the center, right. Okay, that's what we're going to go with. All right, back to the video. And let's move this over where I can see it. And the tricky part is, let's rotate this down. And then, oh, I'm going to have to get out and... Where's my assistant? Waiting for somebody to say, you should get Mitch to be your assistant. He's busy working right now. He's back asked for the schedule. Okay. None of the people that I know in real life watch my shit. None of the people that I know in real life watch my shit. Whatever. I could find new friends. Fuck them. Some of them watch some, but as a general rule, they don't. Okay, we'll use this one. We want something that's relatively small. Now, I know I have extra of this primer. Where the hell did I put it? It's going to creep me out. Oh, I put it upside down and it didn't spill. Okay, well, let's put a little bit more down. Yeah, so I like post things all the time of like every vehicle I do. I post on all the websites. None of the people that actually get to play with the vehicle ever like comment on it and even know that I built them. I'm like, you guys should be the ones that are interested. I got people that I'll never play with because of the, you know, the distance between them. And they make comments on the stuff all the time. And the local players, they don't even know what the hell I'm building. Like, you fuckers are weird, man. Okay. I'm going to take this entire back bumper. We're going to paint it black. Okay. And we're also going to do that to the little lights here. Yeah, I don't understand with not sharing this hobby with everyone you can. And I'm not a technical person, so the fact that I've been able to do any of this, I'm not a technical person because those nerd burglars keep changing, moving the football. Shit, I gotta go back and look at the front now and find out what exactly is. I think that whole rim is going to be black. The gray black bumpers are like super strong plastic. They use slot. They use a lot of that on the bumpers and bottoms of trucks. Might even be metal with a matte paint, to be honest, how some of the engines are. Yeah, well, that's true. I guess you don't watch Mitch's stuff either. Then again, it's a bit of a unique market, but he's got his foot in the door. Mitch doesn't film anything. He's never filmed anything. What are you talking about? I've asked him, I said, hey, you know what? He didn't know how to film anything. I did. I commented on that winter campaign. They'll find a way to fuck it up. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm very religious about the Second World War. And, I don't want to play something that's vaguish. Joke about feet, yeah. I've told him, I mean, he's, I don't think I'm that tech savvy, and the phone's doing all the hard work, right? And he just doesn't have any interest in doing it. It's not difficult to do, man. Just be yourself. It's not like it's that difficult for him to do it. He just doesn't want to do it. That's fine. Yeah. Somebody out there is actually missing his feet on video. I don't know who it is. I'm not saying it's you. By no means am I saying, I know you're not that kind of deviant. You're welcome. There's nothing wrong with being into feet. I mean, not that it's really my thing, but the rest of the girl has to look decent. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't just have like, man, she's a two-bagger, but she's got nice feet. I'm not going to tell you what a two-bagger is. Go look it up. You probably already know. What's the front of this damn thing look like? Oh, that's all molded in the body color? Fuck that. I'm taking my own tack. You gotta be you've never liked guns. You're not from Georgia. Imposter. I've never liked guns, but the Pepe Shaw from World War II is absolutely beautiful. It has its own charm. There's no way you're from Georgia and don't like guns. Come on, man. I told a model group that I go to, I started, because some of the guys only build cars. And I'm like, I don't mind building cars as long as I put guns on them. I like guns because I'm a non-violent person every day. So I want to play violent games. I do. I'm from the UK. We have sword fights here instead. Swords are cool. Oh, we have an interloper here in the United States. Okay. Well, if you watch me for any length of time, I think you're a new viewer. I don't like it. I don't buy into the whole, UK is the enemy. That comment they have around 4th of July all the time, the last couple of years said, they'll have something about the Queen or something on there, and they'll be like, we haven't cared about royals since 1776. Well, my people haven't cared about UK royalty since 1588. But that's another matter altogether. But, I'm kind of, between the tie-in with a hobby, because wargaming is a British thing. And thank goodness, otherwise everything would be like in a language that I can't understand. We don't have a problem with people from England. We just don't want them telling us how to run our country. I mean, I don't want anybody telling us. I don't even want people running our country to tell me how to run the country, but that's beside the point. Sword fights. Yeah, that was the whole thing. You guys drive on the wrong side of the road. It's because, you carry a saber. I'm like, all right, do I get to carry a saber now? No. Well, then there's no reason to do it. Because that might actually be a nice trade-off. You never know when you might have to challenge somebody to a duel. But if you're not allowed to do that, well, can we just go back to driving on the American side then? On the rest of the world side? Or I get a saber. Yeah. Fair trade. Everything from the drum magazine, the wooden stock, the ring, iron sight, it's just beautiful. They say that those things weren't really well made, but I'll tell you what. From what I've read, they were not prone to jamming. They had selectable fire, which means you could fire in fully automatic and single shots. The MP40, the German MP40, was automatic fire only. I like the way the Pepe Shaw looks. I don't like the later version of them that was the stamped one. I think it was called the you're talking about the Pepe Shaw 41. The Pepe Shaw 43 is like a stamped steel looking thing. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not the The thing that makes the Pepe Shot awesome is his 71 round drum magazine. Of course, they only issued 2. You know, you'd have one in the magazine and you'd have a holder for one of them. That's it. You got 144 rounds or 142 rounds, that's it. And full auto, I mean, that thing's like 900 rounds a minute or something like that. So, you know, you could burn through that ammo in no time, but 71 shots before you have to reload, yeah, it's pretty awesome. The Germans liked them. Now, it is a smaller caliber than 9mm, but the muzzle velocity is a lot faster on it. If you look at the ballistic trajectories, that's just saying, you know, the Soviets used 7.62 ammo in their pistols, so their submachine gun uses 7.62 ammo. Same, the Germans used 9mm Luger. Their machine pistol used 9mm Luger. It makes sense. It must have been a really odd dichotomy. Geez, I better look that up before I know what I'm using. Maybe that's not the word I mean. Between the German armed forces in World War II, where you're fighting these subhumans in the East, right? These Slavic subhumans, but yet you use their weapons because they're better. Like, you know, don't believe the propaganda. You know, the problem with the Soviets is it was just a colossal waste of human life. You know, some of the higher ups just didn't care. You know, it's like they would have done so much better if they wouldn't have just thrown their own lives of their own people away. The Japanese were kind of the same way too. You know, the Japanese had this, they didn't care how many casualties they took kind of thing. Not in every time, but many times. Oh yeah, it's going to look a lot better here. We went to, I forget what it was. I think it was after a convention. Mitch and I went to this place they have in Orlando. It's called like Machine Gun America or something like that. And it was like an indoor range where you could like pay to shoot weapons that you can't legally own here without a special permit, like, you know, submachine guns, uh, you know, heavy metal, fully automatic stuff, right? You pay like, we just wanted to see, we weren't going to do any of that stuff because it's cost prohibitive, but just wanted to see what it was all about. We were in the neighborhood. So we went by there and there was a couple from Britain. How do you know they were from Britain? Well, they opened their mouth and spoke. And they had this smile on, I guess they had just gotten done doing whatever it was that they were doing. And they had this smile on their face like it had just been through the best Christmas ever. You know, but that's like cost prohibitive. Like, you know, you got to buy all the ammo and it's like, I don't know, a couple $100 and five, and you know, you don't, none of it comes out back home with you, you know, so. Here we go. Here's your paper shot. Oh, you're over here. Of course, I had this from, shit, this thing's 21 years old. Yeah, this thing, you like that thing. Yeah, paper shot, see, I forgot I even had this thing. Yeah, the paper shot 43, it's PPS 43. Yeah, this is like the Sten version of the stamped one. Yeah. Okay, and we got fog lights down here. We're going to try to get in here and paint the base of these black, so that when we come in here and add the little dots of color, they'll stand out. That's the whole point. We're looking for contrast. And I'm using this primer instead of black paint because honestly, it flows into the nooks and crannies a lot better. Not that it's any more durable. I don't really think it's that durable. I'm not a huge fan of this Vallejo primer. I just happen to have it. I don't think it's trash, but I don't think it's great either. You know, if you're used to priming with enamels, all these acrylic ones suck. The best one I found is the one-shot primer by Ammo, but it's expensive. It's like half as much as this and double the price. So it's like 4 times as expensive. But it does seem to be more durable. It seems to gum up less also when priming it. That cup, I've had it a long time. So you can go on like Amazon and find it. This is a particular artist. This is his logo. And he does different kind of art. I've got this one that I got at a machine gun shoot in 2004. I just went there to observe. A co-worker of mine was like, "Hey, you want to go to this thing?" I'm like, "Ah, sure." And they had like an entire table of just like all kinds of ordnance that, like rich people had, like people that are like, like even if somebody gave me something like, "Hey, here, have an MG34 and I'll pay for the permits for you." I can't afford the ammo. I mean, it's, that's like cost prohibitive. You're talking about like $1 a round. These guys are like shooting the whole belt. That's $300. And that's assuming you have the gun for free. It's like, I can't do that kind of shit, I'll go to the range and spend $100 on ammo. And, the daughter and I went a couple weeks ago. It's like, oh, let me buy 400 rounds. Went through all of it. Like, shit, I mean, it was still over a couple hours, but I'll do that a couple times a year. But that's not rifle ammo. Like, that's super expensive. But anyway, so I went to that machine gun shoot. That artist I really like their artist style. He makes a couple different ones. I've got that one, and I've got the one with the Beretta pistols. But I had this a long time. Yeah, I love this art. It's pretty cool. I don't know any of these. I'm not. God, how much would an MP40 go for? Whew. $6,000, an original one, probably 6-7 grand, something like that. And if you do have guns, I don't see the point in not shooting them. That's like, I bought a car. Do you drive it? No. Like, okay, why have it? Like, you should enjoy things you have. I mean, take care of them. But okay, rear lights. The front, I'm gonna make that pop a little bit. Okay, cool. The little grab handle on the back trunk. Let's see if that's molded in color or not. Let's see, F-150. Where's the part on the rear? And I may still do it in black, even if it isn't black on this one. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. Yeah, we're getting close to where I'm going to have to stop, unfortunately. I'll be back. It's a weekend. Thank God it's a weekend. We needed this one badly. We need all of them badly, but it's going to be hell from now until Christmas. But that's all I'm going to say. I don't mean at home. I mean at work. So, what about door handles? Door handles. Are the door handles? No, they're color molded there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we've got, a lot of these die-cast things actually have really good detail on them. Just the sculpting department and the paint department are at odds. Like the sculpting department will make all kinds of things on the design, and the paint department's like, yeah, all we got is 2 colors. That's all we're gonna do. I ain't gonna do that shit. Okay, is this bastard dry? Yes. All right. I would like to have this dry to be able to give it a wash when I get back. So I want to go ahead and paint this at least in a military green type color-ish. All right. So maybe one that's a little bit more gray than green. No, not German field gray. Less gray than that. Reflective green. I think this would be all right. So you got to get rid of that. Let's go over to this one. I may have a second one of these. This one might be one of these really old colors. It's watery as hell. I mean, it's like 20-something years old. It's kind of watery, but it'll do. All right, we'll get a bigger brush than this. This will do. And some black, but not the primer black. We're going to use the folk art, which comes from your neck of the woods. Folkston, I think this is Folkston, Georgia. Norcross, Georgia. No, Folkston's not near you. Norcross, I think, is up near you. And they say, oh, they can't make things cheap in the United States. The cheapest paint I have is the stuff that's made in the United States. And this is just over $1. Folk art, Americana, Plaid. They're all Plaid enterprises. Deco art. Oh, this one's in Kentucky. Ooh, they got Yankees making this stuff now. Oh, I see a little white thing. Is that my favorite white man? Nope. Can you draw a big dick? No. I guess you can't pull your pants down and see what one looks like, huh? Oh well, you can go on the internet and find one. Come on, man. Another one of those viewers that don't know who his dad is. How old are you, my British friend? See, people are united, I think, more about nationality than about, like, how you were brought up more than anything else. Okay, so we made like this darkish kind of color with black. Now we're going to bring it up. And we're using this, I think some people call it overbrush. I just call it wet dry brush, just kind of the same thing. It's not going to look sloppy like this, but adding a lot of detail to this at this level is just a waste of time. Trust me, I've done it. I've gone like real anal and painted all these little parts. And then, by the time I'm done with it, I'm like, why didn't I just find a quicker way to do it? So the first couple of cars that I did 7 or 8 years ago, they took literally tens of hours to do them. And they don't look any better than, I don't like them any better than the ones I'm doing now. All right, and we're going to add a little bit of, I'm just going to add the straight because it is kind of watery. And I may have to wait a little bit and do this afterwards. But like I said, I need to go, we need to fire up the car and make sure it starts. And regardless, still take it in. Like, something's up, we can't have we don't need any extra drama with our vehicle getting to work. That's for sure. I have a very short commute, but I need to be there when I need to be there. I got enough problems that I got to deal with without being that being one of them. Reflective. There's got to be another reflective green. I bet I bought it. I bet I rebought that. I bet I've rebought that. Luftwaffe green. German dark green. Enough with the German shit, man. German side German. Like these guys that build tanks, you know, right? You'll see some guy and he's like, hey, I like German tanks. Here's all my tanks. And he's got like 12 German tanks and nothing else. I'm like, dude, you know, like I like German tanks as much as anybody, but they need somebody to fight too. You know, you can't just have just one side. Yeah. We'll finish off with another green. This yellow-green thing here. It's the same color basically, just this is a new one. It's not all watery and shit. You know, I don't come on here to make fun of anybody or insult anybody, but if you're gonna come on here and be a weasel, I'll just weasel back at you. Gone. You get one chance to misbehave. You know, like some people that come in at work, like truck drivers have to deal with work. You get one time, you know, here are the rules. You misbehave with those rules, I'll never see you again. Bye-bye. One guy a couple of weeks ago was like, oh, it's you. I'm like, well, you're the one that came to my channel. It'd be like, you're sitting there knocking on people's doors, and when they open the door, it's like, oh, you fucking live here. I say, yeah, you're the one that rang the doorbell. Go away. Crank callers. People can't crank call anymore. You know, there's too much technology to be able to find those people. So this is about as far as we're going to be able to go. Well, the place doesn't open until 8. Let's see if we can finish this thing. Or at least get further along. Now, can I remove this from here? I think this will do fine. I think this will do fine. So we'll let that dry. Let's rinse this green off. And then we'll go back and do the other metal color that's a little bit brighter. Okay? So that's all the way at the bottom. That is Iron Warriors Lead Belchers, the next one up. And a little bit of agua, so we can keep the paint flowing to the consistency that's workable. Still seems to be a fair number of people playing this game. Not that that would really affect me, but you know. as few people that I think play this game have to remember, well, there's a lot more people playing Gaslands than there are playing DBA. I'm gonna take a guess. That's probably the case. I mean, that's not why I don't play DBA anymore, but I play stuff when it's fun. When it stops being fun, I'm gonna go do something else. And I wouldn't say DBA stopped being fun. It started being frustrating. Unsolvable frustration stuff. It's not like, hey, you only played it for a year and moved on. So we did it for 18 fucking years. So that we got everything. I'm glad I'm not involved in it now with the different versions and the DBF and all that. It's like, that's just too much drama for me to deal with when I'm not at work. I got too much work drama to deal with that crap. So we're going to come in and we're going to trim this. In this color. I really love painting headlamps. Unless you realize you don't like the way they look, and then it's hell. It's like the people, like I didn't like to paint figures. I didn't like to paint faces until you can do faces that you're happy with and like bring on the faces, right? Okay, and then, I mean, these vehicles have good details on them. Just the paint department just decided not to paint, not do anything to them. Honestly, the whole reason I got this vehicle was this freaking crazy engine. Reminds me of that little thing from The Mask. And in one part in the movie, The Mask, he pulls out something like a little sound thing, and it ends up being like I think, or it was like a pistol. It was like a huge, like something that started off really small and got like big. It was kind of like the same thing, like a freaking trumpet. I guess this would be an engine intake. And we are going to go with mithril silver probably and trim that stuff out, but we're not going to do that until the lights are actually in. We're going to leave the top level here of the bumper in black. And don't really need to touch much on the actual wheels. We're going to leave those as is, and then when we weather over them, that'll all work its way out. Obviously, we'll have a little Ford logo there in blue, make that little thing pop. And yeah, well, I think that's where I got to stop. I got to make sure the car goes. We need to be able to have a vehicle. It was really frustrating to play musical vehicles. So, all week. The Hoffman. I'm looking at some Bacchus miniatures, but trying to see how their shipping reputation is. I don't know. I know that they're really popular. I think they are. They have a good quality reputation, but I scored like I need more of these things, but I ended up surfing on eBay, which I rarely do anymore, and I ended up winning a bid for $1.06 with $5 shipping. So for $6.06 out the door, I've got like 10 other cars. I'm like, yeah, that's less than $1 a car. And they're cars that look interesting, including some JDM stuff. I think I got a 240Z, like a retro 240Z with the body, the wheels that pop out a little bit. So those will be coming in the next week or so. Like, I need more cars. Hey, it's fun to do. Like, I could spend freaking $6 on that, you know. All right, so when we come back, we'll end up doing the turn lights, the little Ford logo, that kind of thing. We'll be able to bring this up another level. Let's take this off, even if I scuff it up a little bit. We've got other layers, and let's put a little bit of stickum here, which is what we're gonna. Well, it'll be smaller than this, but just to get an idea of how we're looking color-wise. Yeah, this is what we may end up painting the base plate black so it hides a little bit more, but yeah. Yeah, this thing should be pretty interesting because with the nitro and hot start, it should be get up and go pretty quick. But that's where we're going to stop for this morning, and we'll see you guys later on this weekend. Thanks for stopping by, as always. Bye-bye.